everyone, welcome to episode 30 of Pineapple Knits. I'm Marina, and you can visit me on Instagram and Ravelry at pineappleyarn, and you can visit my hand-dyed yarn company at pineappleyarn.com. Welcome back to the podcast this week. I'm so happy that you are joining me today, where we chat about knitting and spinning and yarn, of course, yarn. But it's always so nice to chat with you today, and I'm super disappointed because my whole family has been sick, and if you can hear my voice, I have a little bit of frogginess left, so I apologize for that. But I've been so disappointed that I haven't kept up with my weekly podcast, so please forgive me for that, and I'm going to try really hard to keep up with the weekly podcast still. Hopefully it's smooth sailing from here, no more sickness, because any of you with kids can understand it's no fun. It's no fun being sick with kids. So that's what has been going on around here. Is all I've been doing is taking care of myself and my sick family. But anyway, it's so nice to be back, and I have a few new knitting projects to share with you. I have a new yarn that I spun up, and I also have a shop update this week. So let's get started. My finished object this week, I've actually already shared on Instagram. It's a pair of Shortie Socks, and I knit them from Pineapple Yarn's sock set in End of the Day number 20. I actually don't have the socks, they've already been worn, and I think probably need washed. So, they were a really fun knit. The yarn was just so much fun to knit with because there were constant color changes. I actually was knitting these when I was pretty sick, and I actually get pretty bored when I'm sick. I don't have a lot of energy to do, of course. We don't have the energy to do, the things that need to be done around the house, but I was able to just muster up a little bit of energy for knitting, and actually later I'll show you some spinning I did too. But yeah, these turned out so pretty, and I was really glad that I snagged a sock set for myself when I dyed these during my last shop update, because they're so pretty, and I made these for my oldest daughter. They were just a little bit of specifics about the socks. 60 stitches around. I knit them on a size US 0 needle. My Addy sock rockets, I always knit magic loop, and I did them toe up and did a German short row heel. So I guess it was basically the exact same thing that I did for my Advent socks for my oldest daughter. She loves Shortie Socks. I think she's getting a little particular about her socks. I'm not sure how many hand knit socks she's gonna get in the future, which is fine because I have 4 other children I can knit socks for, and they have smaller feet, so bonus, right? But no, she loved them, and I have all the details on Ravelry. I know, it's crazy. I actually updated my Ravelry too when I was sick, so I'm getting there little by little. I think it was one of the viewers of this podcast actually left me a comment or a message, and she recommended an app called Ravet, and I started using it, and basically it's a Ravelry app. It's not from the makers of Ravelry, it's independent, and I started using that app, and it works so well for Ravelry. To update your notebook on Ravelry. I believe you can even browse patterns and whatnot, but I'm using it specifically to update my Ravelry notes. So in my Ravelry projects, and I'm really thankful. I can't remember who it was, so thank you if that was you for telling me about Ravet. I've been using it so much. I've been using it to try and update all my Ravelry. So if you kind of have the same issues as I do, as far as not updating Ravelry as consistently as you should, or as consistently as you want, try Ravet, because it's a really great app and it has helped me a lot. I'm going to move on to my works in progress. I'm storing both of them in my project bag here. It's so cute, it has sheep all over it. I believe I currently have one of these in the shop. They are a sweater and shawl size bag, so they are great for multiple projects or for larger projects. If you remember last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago, my last podcast, I was asking you guys if you had any pattern recommendations for handspun yarn. As many of you may know, I love spinning, and I've amassed quite a few skeins, a moderate amount of skeins of handspun yarn. And I was a little concerned that as I continue to spin and my consistency gets better, just my technique gets better, I was a little concerned that I wouldn't be using my handspun yarn and I would go back to the older skeins and they wouldn't be consistent, they're just thick and thin. I really wanted to get a project going with them so I can use them up and appreciate the work that I put into spinning the yarn. So one pattern, but someone recommended the Nightshift shawl by Andrea Mowry. And I thought, of course, why am I not thinking of this? It's a long asymmetrical shawl, great for handspun. And so I started it. I think the pattern calls for 5 or 6 150 gram skeins of spin cycle yarn in worsted weight. And of course, since I wanted to use my handspun, I actually only picked 3 colors out because I was pretty sure that they're all over 150 yards each. So the first color, this is my color A in the shawl. This is Pool Party created by LCB. And all of these are a 2-ply, approximately a DK to a worsted weight. So that I love this one, so I definitely wanted to start with that. This is my color A. My color B is a set of rolags that I made with fiber that I dyed. I'm pretty sure this is all fiber that I dyed. I can't exactly remember, but this is definitely one of my first projects. And it was really crazy because the difference between all of these, I can definitely tell which ones I spun when I was first learning. I'm still learning to spin, but I can definitely tell the earlier projects from the later projects. The third color C that I'm using is, and my yarn is all messy now, but this is actually the skein that I finished, the spinning project that I just finished. And of course, I didn't take a picture because after it was done drying, I was honestly just anxious to cake it up and start working with it. All these details are in the show notes below, and of course, as always, you're always welcome to leave a comment or a question about anything, and I will help you as much as I can. One of my kids just brought me some tea, which is great because I don't know how long my voice is going to last. This is a pretty teacup. My husband got me this for my birthday, which is right before Christmas. So this is the Trader Joe's Winter Wake Up Tea, which a friend gave that to me, and I love because it's so good. It's kind of like the chai tea that I miss so much, and but this actually does have some black tea in it, and I just put stevia in it. Now that I'm drinking this coffee, or this tea, I'm pretty sure one of my kids made it with the Keurig coffee pods still in it. Yeah, it's pretty coffee-ish. It's a thought that counts, right? Okay, so let me show you with this shawl how far I am. This is everything I have knit so far, and I am just really loving how all these colors are turning out. So the colors themselves in the skein will shift and change color as I knit, but then also there are color changes as I go as well. This is a really, really great pattern, and if you are, if you want to use some handspun, you don't have to use handspun for this, but it's designed for handspun. This is a really, really great pattern. It's very intuitive. I am not even reading the pattern now because it's very easily memorized, and it has been very enjoyable. I love the texture. It has a really wonderful texture on it. I wasn't sure how, I guess, stretchy and blockable it will be, but it will be very blockable. This is just a really beautiful shawl. I am loving it so much. So thank you to my viewers who recommended this shawl to me and jogged my memory, because of course I've seen it, but I just didn't even think. So thank you for your recommendation, and I'm excited to keep knitting on this. Right now, at this time of my life, I just can't do complicated patterns. I just can't. So this is perfect. The second project I started when I was sick was a pair of socks for my next daughter. Yeah, so I always knit in age order, and so everyone can expect when they get their pair of socks, so they're not always asking me, which is nice that they like what I knit them, and so they're anxious for it. It's a good feeling. But this is the sock that I just started, and this is a new colorway that I dyed up. This will be in my shop update this week, and it is called Tropic Call Me. It's kind of a punny name, if you will, but gosh, I love the colors in this. And this won't be in a full skein in the shop. It will be in a 50-gram skein sock set. So all of my sock sets are 50-gram skeins for the main color, and then a 20-gram mini skein for heels, toes, and cuffs. So the total is 70 grams. It's so great for socks because it's less than a full skein. It costs less than a full skein of yarn, but then also you don't have a lot of leftovers at the end, so it's perfect. It's for socks. This is what the skeins actually look like, the colorway all skeined up. I just love all of the warm pinks and corals, multicolor speckles. There's some aqua in there, and yeah, it's just a great colorway. I love it, especially for winter. And we're all a little anxious for spring. I am definitely anxious for spring. I don't think I need to tell you guys that. But yeah, these will be sock sets in my shop on Friday. But I wanted just to knit up a sample and see what it looked like, and I think it is so pretty. I love it. Again, just with the other pair of socks I was talking to you about earlier, I'm doing it toe up, and using my Addy sock rockets, and using my Addy sock rockets and doing it magic glue. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like caked up, because it's super, super pretty. This is definitely what I had in mind when I was dyeing this, and I love when things come out the way they are in my head. And this is just a really vibrant colorway. I wanted to show you too. I don't know if I can get this because it's pretty blown out, but there are little bits of not only some warm pinks, but there's definitely like a little bit of a neon coral in there too, and it just really adds to the pop. I'm going to see if you can see that in there. Really, really excited about this, and yeah, definitely glad that I saved a skein of this for myself. But these have been really nice to knit on while I've been sick, and they don't use a lot of brain power, and just a couple rows here and there, and I've already got this far, so that's really fun, and that's been fun to knit on. But those are my projects that I've been working on, and obviously the biggest thing that I have worked on, and this has been a long time coming, but The biggest thing I've been working on is geared toward my shop update this Friday, which is February 8th. It will be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at pineappleyarn.com. This will be my first update for 2019. Previously in 2018, I was doing shop updates every other week, I guess. So it was about twice monthly, and that was a really good pace for me, and I think that you guys liked it too. But ever since Thanksgiving hit and the holidays, I've just had a really hard time finding the time and finding the energy to do big shop updates. So I've wanted to get this out for quite a while. I'm glad that it's finally happening. I'm so proud of everything that I have dyed and I've created in this update. So let me share with you what will be in the shop this Friday. During the update this week, I will have 4 different sock sets. 2 will be repeatable colorways and 2 are some of my end of the day colorways. The first one, I actually gave you a sneak peek on Instagram of this colorway. This one is called Bananas Over You, and it is a very, very, very vibrant neon colors. So the mini is actually a neon yellow, and it's going to be so blown out. I apologize, you guys. There you go. You can see how bright that is. The main color of the sock, the main skein, is a gorgeous blend of neon purples and oranges and yellows. This is not doing it any justice. Maybe if I hold it back here you can see it a little better. But this is called Bananas Over You. It is beautiful. If you want a really flashy pair of socks, this is the sock set to get. This is just super, super stunning, and I'm so proud of this. This is very beautiful. So this is Bananas Over You. My other repeatable colorway I just showed you guys, and this is called Tropic Call Me, and it's a beautiful blend of warm pinks, neon corals, aqua, lots of gorgeous speckles, multicolor speckles throughout. Some of these are a little warmer than others, or a little more saturated than others. But this is just such a beautiful, beautiful colorway. And so this will also be available. Then the other 2 colorways that I have are end of the day colorways. And if you're not familiar, the end of the day line is where I use all of my leftover dyes and put them together for just a really super beautiful blend. Non-repeatable, of course, because they're one of a kind. But this will be end of the day number 21. And it is a super gorgeous, really watercolory shades of blues, greens, yellows, pinks. This is so beautiful. And I'm going to pair this with a very tonal, kind of a semi-solid purple. And I didn't want anything really solid with this mini. I wanted it still to have a lot of variations. So these 2 together are just so beautiful. They remind me of very, very watercolory, lots of blend. So this is end of the day number 21. The next one I have is end of the day number 22. And it is also a really beautiful, very saturated blend of rainbows. I don't know if there's any, I guess blue would be the predominant color in this, but there are so many different colors in this skein that I couldn't possibly tell you all of them, or we'll be here all day. But this was a really fun colorway to make or to dye. I actually used, I have a lot of stock dye, so it's kind of like concentrated dye I mix up and then I dilute and mix according to recipes that I create. But I had some stock that I wanted to use up, and so that is why there are so many gorgeous, intense colors in this one. I'm so happy the way this turned out. This would make an awesome pair of socks, but this is end of the day number 22. I'm going to move on now to a few new colorways. They are full 100 gram skeins. I dyed all of these on my Lonnie sock base, so pretty standard, but that's what I sell the most of, so that's what I dyed up. But this one is, I will be calling this Like My Shirt, because I had a shirt on with all these colors, and you know, it's not really creative, but like my shirt, that's basically what this looks like. It is a blend of a beautiful, kind of a warm lavender color. I've got a bright, bold blue, very clear, and then that moves into a beautiful aqua, and then the speckles on this are all pretty tonal. So nothing too eclectic, crazy. You know, this would be beautiful in a fade. It'd be beautiful if you are looking to, you know, obviously a pair of socks or whatnot. But I think this would make a beautiful shawl. A couple of these skeins would be so beautiful. But this is called Like My Shirt. The next colorway I will be adding to the shop this Friday is called Princess Twilight Sparkle. And you may recognize the name from a Little Pony, My Little Pony. And this is the exact color of that pony. You can tell I have girls who like My Little Pony because that is my inspiration, obviously. So it begins at the bottom with a beautiful kind of a gray blue, moves into a lavender, and then a really pretty warm pink. There's some really beautiful speckles, tonal speckles as well. I really, really love this skein, and it would be so pretty in a shawl, or even like a sweater or a hat. Yeah, or for a My Little Pony lover. So this one is Princess Twilight Sparkle. The next one I have is I guess it's kind of a Valentine's theme. I dyed this colorway, gosh, when we still lived in Hawaii, so I guess 2 years ago I dyed this up. I don't remember. Anyway, this is a really pretty saturated reds and pinks. I'll show you up close. There are pops of yellow and orange in here. I use this color for many of my projects. I've had a skein of this for a long time, and this is a little different. It has more variation in it, but that's kind of how I roll. That's what I like. But look at I don't know if you guys can see that. There's some really just really pretty pops of yellow, but this is Heartbreaker. Sometimes I have notes of colors that I want to dye, and it's just things around me, things that my kids have. Obviously, like a couple of yarns ago, like my shirt, I just write it on my dyeing notes, and sometimes that's just the name. The name just sticks, and I just go with it. And I think that that is one of the hardest things about owning a hand-dyed yarn company, is coming up with the names. I think it's quite challenging. So sometimes I have goofy names, and it's okay because the colors are awesome. So I just go with it. So this is one of the situations, this next skein. I call it Pipe Cleaner Bow. Reason being, my kids, I asked them to wrap a present for someone. I can't remember with the situation, but they made this gorgeous bow out of pipe cleaners, and these were the colors in it. There is a really pretty neon yellow, aqua, with just hints of pink, a little bit darker shades of kind of a navy, a deep gray, and then obviously green. There's just some really fun speckles in here too. Kind of it's a rose, almost like a deep pink rose. And this skein, so this type of skein, the ones that are that have, they're multi-layered, they have a lot of color in them. I dye yarn to deliver a beautiful knitted project. This is kind of an aside, but it was on my mind today. I dye yarn not for the way that it will look in the skein, but for the way it will knit up. And so I'm always very conscientious of that, and that's the way I blend the dyes, blend the colors as I apply them, the places where I put the speckles. That's always in the forefront of my mind when I'm dyeing. And this is definitely one of those colors when I was thinking of the finished product. This is a great color for kind of a link or a bridge in a fade. And so if you are wanting to make a faded shawl or a faded sweater, some kind of fade project, this is a beautiful bridge between, like, if you had some paler neon colors, if you have some darker colors, this will help tie it in. Yeah, so I have a few skeins like this in my shop that are just really great kind of links between colors that may normally be unrelated. And so, you know, a lot of times where if you're trying to put a fade together, it can be challenging making a fade from your stash. I guess it depends how big your stash is, right? But if you can find colorways like this one, they can make putting together a fade a lot easier. So this is called Pipe Cleaner Bow. The resources to bring it, I guess energy to bring it to you then. So I'm bringing it in February around Valentine's Day, and that's great because it's beautiful. It totally fits the theme of Valentine's Day. So I started I started the kit with a beautiful subtle gold sparkle, and then I added all of these different shades of pink. So hopefully the camera will be able to pick these up. These are a gorgeous blend of warm and cool pinks, some beautiful speckles, really subtle, so they're not, it's just not kind of in your face or too much. I dyed them to go with this project bag. It is a beautiful, beautiful shade of pink. Of course, I have my pineapple charm on it, and it is actually a gold metallic. And so this is just a very special fabric I found. I was so excited to find it. I did a New Year's bag in a metallic, I believe that was 2 years ago. It was right before we moved from Hawaii, and it had such a great reception. You guys loved it, and so I really wanted to bring back a beautiful metallic. And so yeah, so these two will be in a kit together. The charm that will be included is this gorgeous gold charm. It is actually a little tiny fortune cookie, if you can believe it, which I think is just, it's so cute. The name of this colorway and this kit is called Fortunately Pink. And I wanted to let you guys know that I know these are very limited. My kits are always a limited quantity. And I did write down the formula, the recipe for this yarn. So Don't be surprised if this shows up later in the shop at some point, because it is written down. But if you want this kit, if you want this yarn, I would highly recommend getting it, because it is a very limited quantity. But I am so proud of those. I think that they are just so beautiful. And then of course the little charm is just so cute. So that is all I have to show you guys this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked the podcast, I would so appreciate if you could give it a like and possibly subscribe to the podcast. The more likes that Pineapple Knits received, the more it is pushed out to other knitters who can join us in our chats. But again, too, my shop update will be Friday, February 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at pineappleyarn.com. And I hope to see you there. So thanks so much for joining me today. I always so appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join me, because I know that your time is limited, and I just really appreciate it. So until next time, I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.